Amen. Welcome to the Wisconsin Revival Rally Show, and I am your host. Welcome to Dr. David King, and I want to just say to each and every one of you, welcome and hello to each and every one of you that's here with me. Tonight going to be good, you guys. Tonight is going to be great. There's so much going on, so much controversy going on, so much different things that are going on, and we're gonna talk about them. And I'm excited because I have with me tonight, you guys. I have with me tonight. I call her the rock star. Uh, well, thank you, Tyra. Thank you so much. I thought I'd wear this. Support your local freedom keeper. I wanted to do that, but tonight, you guys, I have back with me. I call her the Queen Rock Star of the Constitution, and she is with me tonight. Welcome, Sarah. Welcome and welcome.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Ooh, I get a title.
I know, right? And so, how are you tonight? Because I know, we're gonna talk about it, but how are you tonight?
I'm on fire right now. I'm learning more and more about my country that is I'm sorry. I'm learning more and more about my party that is vastly disappointing, and I'm wanting to make a difference. So
wait a minute, somebody hold on. Wait a minute. Somebody said what? I gotta figure out who this
looks
is.
like you're heading to the gym, it says.
Oh, no, that's Ed. No, Ed, not hanging to the gym. I'm just going to do some push-ups right here. We're gonna push up right here. And so
push up and push back.
Yeah, push up, push back. I'm excited. I'm
Hi,
glad
Stacey.
you guys are with us tonight. We know there's a lot of strange things that's going on, and we're gonna talk about almost all of it tonight. We just saw somebody sent a post where General Flynn, who endorsed Jonathan Wickman this summer and forgot he endorsed him and endorsed Tim Ramtham a couple of weeks ago, sent me a post where Jonathan put up on his page that Flynn just now endorsed him for the lieutenant governor race. And so your candidacy couldn't have been that strong if he forgot he endorsed you in the summer. So, and that's what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about endorsement, period, because a lot of times when we look at this thing, a lot of times when we look at this thing, I think we allowing people to pick and choose for us without allowing us to have a say so. And at the end of the day, now we stuck with the lesser of the two evil. So we're going to talk about it, and I'm finna let her loose, you guys. I know she's finna go, and then she's going to hit me with some questions. So we're going to have some fun. I'm glad that everybody is watching. If you guys want to make comments, you are more than welcome to tonight. But we're going to get down, right down, dirty, bam! It's coming at you. So come on, Sarah.
All right. Well, where should I start? Let's start with the Constitution. There's an article that talks about the responsibilities of the state legislatures and their role in oversight of the election, right? They are responsible for making sure that our elections are integrity driven, that they have a specific time and place, that we are all on board in each state, and that we are not connected to any other election in any other state because we are supposed to be sovereign nation. One state is a sovereign nation in and of itself, and we have a voice that does not get affected by any other voice in the country. So I just discovered this today. Thank you, Dr. King, for putting me onto this. That our very own Republican Party of Wisconsin is now demanding a list of qualifications and documents from each of the candidates for I'm assuming for all of the state party runs and all of that stuff. And they're demanding how should I put this? They're demanding to have oversight over how to qualify or how to define the qualifications for each candidate's ability to even be endorsed by our party. So not only do you have to gain signatures for your run for candidacy, not only do you have to go out and knock on doors and get the support of people around you so that you can start a campaign, but now you have to go through a vetting process, which looks more like a gauntlet to me. And you have to stand before the endorsement committee to give them proof of your qualification to even be endorsed by the Republican Party of Wisconsin. Now, our state convention is May 21st, I believe, and these interviews and this process is taking place in March. So basically, what they're doing is they're saying, we, the endorsement committee of a select few elite people in the Republican Party, get to decide before we even go to convention who the people at convention are going to be able to vote for to endorse. Now, I know it kind of sounds all weird and convoluted, but I think that's the whole point, because what we are doing, what we are seeing in our parties nowadays, is we are trying to separate our candidates from the people as much as possible, so that the people are no longer responsible themselves for choosing the candidates that are running for office. We are taking the responsibility of the people, we the people, and we are saying, okay, well, this little thing over here, this we're gonna just separate that out, and we're gonna take that responsibility, because that's a little bit too hard for you guys, right? We're not gonna make you have to go through and do all the research for yourself and find out which candidates are the ones who hold your values. We're gonna tell you exactly who you should vote for, because we're gonna tell you how we define the candidates that have the values that we believe you should vote for. So they send the candidates a letter. Now, it starts off really, really well, and I'm shaking over here. I'm this angry about it, but I'm going to read you just this little section of it, and I'm going to ask Dr. King, if you don't mind, a question about it. It says, "Dear Dr. David King, we sincerely appreciate you representing the Republican Party of Wisconsin, representing our values, and standing for election before the people of Wisconsin. Your contribution will help us win more voters to our cause and the entire Republican ticket." Okay, so Dr. King, who do you represent in your run for lieutenant governor?
The people of Wisconsin.
What, you don't represent the political action committees and the Republican Party organization as a whole? You represent the people of Wisconsin?
I represent the people of Wisconsin, and the reason I represent the people of Wisconsin is because the people of Wisconsin is the one who says they want to represent them. And I think what happens is, and it's bringing controversy, and it's bringing I'm not going to say division, because I'm going to do my part to not make division, but that we can win. But what it's doing is telling the people, you're not allowed to do critical thinking. We think for you, we pick for you, and then you just go with the one that we pick for you. That's not allowing you to have critical thinking. That's not allowing you to do what they call it, vet. People say, I vetted you. So what it's telling the people is, don't vet nobody, just take who we give you.
Yep.
But the election is for the people, and it's supposed to be by the people, so that the people can choose the best representation for them. And so when you play these, like we talked about last night, when you play the two-party system, now you're not playing we the people game. You're playing the two-party system game, and we send out our best fighter.
Yep. So their whole idea is, and this is, they even state it, your contribution will help us win more voters to our cause and the entire Republican ticket. Because, that's what we the people are more concerned about, is winning for the Republican ticket, not winning for the people, regardless of whether we're Republicans or Democrats, not winning for the values and principles that founded this country, but winning for a party. And just in that one opening paragraph of this letter, our Republican Party has already decided that we are going to play to not lose. Now, there's a difference between playing to win and playing to not lose. Dr. King, do you have any idea what that difference is?
Well, I'm trying to find that because when they plan not to lose, because and I like to say it like this: they're not after to take care of the people; they just want the power. So if I get the power, that's all. That's what it's about. It's about power. So if I get the power, then we controls. We are the ones, the dictators now. We're telling you what's best for your life. So we really not listening. And what it is really not listening to the people, right? And so when you look at like Eric Dunn, you know who Eric Dunn is? Durn is, right? Durr. Eric Dunn was a truck driver, a We the People truck driver, who spent $153 and took out the number one. Let me do it this way. He took out the most powerful Democrat in Jersey with $153.
Yep.
And they kept saying to him, "You did it. You did it." He says, "I did not do it." He said, "I did not do it." He said, "The people done it." And no matter who's in charge, we got to stop saying we as a party done it and say the people choice. The people made the decision. Yep. Okay, what did Ed say?
Who are they?
Oh, wait, let me put it up here. Who are they? Okay. So we promise you guys we will not say they, we will say names. We are those type of people that we will say names when it comes. But when you look at it like this, when the party says, okay, you're in a party, or you don't really want to be in a party, but you got to play, as they say, the two-party system game instead of playing according to the Constitution. Because if we did it according to the Constitution, then it would not be a two-party system.
No, they would be choosing candidates. We the people would be choosing candidates based on integrity, based on their ability to meet the people where they are at, and say these are the things, these are the plans I'm putting in place to represent you in my office, right? And so, the presidents, even they were usually chosen from a group of men. There were votes that were cast for more than two people. Now, obviously, down the line, you see it very quickly became a two-party system but this was exactly what the founding fathers did not want, because they did not want us to hold our allegiance to a party above the Constitution. This was exactly what they were fighting against. They knew that human nature was naturally driven to find a tribe, right, to get in with a unified group and all of those things, but they were trying to do their absolute best to guard against that. And that's why they had the Constitution set up the way they did. That's why they gave the job of the election decision making to the legislature, because we're making laws for the people. That is the perfect group of people, not just one, or not just a select, small elite group of committees. It is the legislature who arguably should know the law and should be able to follow it, and should be able to set up the election in a way that will be integrity driven, in a way that will I don't want to say prevent fraud, but will at least do as much as possible to prevent as much of the fraud as possible. Because obviously there are going to be people who try to fraudulently elect the person they want in office. There's always going to be those people who are going to cheat the system or going to attempt it. But the legislature was supposed to produce guards against that. Now,
so let's go back to this, what Ed is saying right here.
Okay.
Did you see that?
Yep. Republican Party of Wisconsin Constitution. Well, any constitutions that go against the Constitution of the United States of America and the Wisconsin State Constitution are null and void. You cannot have a higher constitution than the Constitution that governs our nation. So I mean, I don't know how else to answer that. The Republican Party Constitution, the Republican Party of Wisconsin Constitution, is not a higher authority than the Constitution of the United States of America.
Now, let me jump in here real quick because I want to say something because everybody is chiming in now. So I'm glad
there's a lot of them.
I'm glad they chiming in. But let me say this. See, the party saying, and this is me talking. The party saying we want you to play our way, right? So if you take conservatives and we run independent, then they say, oh, you're allowing the Democrats to win because you're drawing votes away from us. No. Yeah. You can't have it both ways. You know, if a person, you got what 500, I believe it's 500 to 700 delegates that's going to be at the convention versus 50,000 to 100,000 people that's going to vote in a primary. So do you tell the people in the primary, oh, let us pick for you and you just vote this way? Or do you tell them, oh, before you vote for us, let's make sure you in right standards first. Let's make sure you paid your dues to the party first. Let's make, you know, I mean, it's so crazy on how we try to set stuff up to fit. You know, I like to say it like this. When I get a preacher that misquote the scripture, I says, what you're trying to do is put a clip in a revolver. It won't work. Okay. And so when you look at it like this and says, okay, well, my values is supposed to line up because I'm a man of God with the values that the Republicans say they have, right?
Yep.
And so, man, they popping us tonight. So let me start. Wait. I start with this one. 500 people should not vote proxy for 500,000 people. And I guess he's talking about the convention.
Yeah, so the convention, well, I will tell you, I'm one of the delegates that will be heading there, and I will not be voting on endorsing. I will be putting up a big stink about endorsing a candidate before the primaries. And I know of several other people within the party who are going as delegates who will be fighting for that as well and standing up against it. Again, you're letting people that aren't in the club vote for the candidates of the club.
Right. So you know, and I think that's where we have to define, you know, that too, you know, being part of the club. I mean, we run on the ticket of Republican because as people of God, as conservatives, we supposed to, I mean, the values supposed to line up, right? But if we ran independent, they said we're splitting the votes.
Right.
So if we say, okay, we don't agree with what you're doing, so we're going to run independent. So all you're doing is taking away votes from, as they say, from the Republican side, right? So you're taking those votes, so you're allowing the Democrats to win again. No, we're not allowing the Democrats to win again. When you start putting all these roadblocks and things in the way, then you are the ones that allowing them, because so now if we don't play the way you play, then you take your basketball and go home. No, we need to come together, and we don't, you know, we if we feel as conservatives we want to run and we want to run on the Republican ticket, we should be able to run on that ticket without going through all of this. So do any oh, wait a minute. They coming so fast. Hold on. Let's see. What did Kevin Nutt say?
Yep. Pay to play in order to be a part of something whose bar is lower than most average people.
Okay.
Yep. We need to. Yep. Exactly.
Okay. And then let's see. What's that one?
We don't want a club. The club is the problem. We need to focus on conserving. So he basically was just restating what he said previously.
Okay. And then Ed.
So do away with the parties, or better yet, stand by the courage of your convictions and run as an independent. Okay. Yeah. So, well, I mean, if you don't sign this, Dr. King, you might be running as an independent. I will still vote for you. Yeah, so I mean, so this goes through it. It tells you the Republican Party, the next thing down says it conducts an endorsement vote during partisan election years to determine the opinion of the party through a secret ballot of its grassroots delegates at our RPW convention. These delegates are leaders and opinion influencers in their communities across the state. Ooh, I'm a leader and an opinion influencer, apparently.
Oh, wow.
The endorsement of the Republican grassroots is awarded to the candidate who gets 60% or more of the vote. This thus is an overwhelming favorite. I love the line, the words that they are using, because they're really doing a lot of pandering. And to talk about favorites, they talk about these delegates being leaders and opinion influencers, right? Well, I've lived in Black River Falls, Wisconsin for 4 years. I don't consider myself much of an opinion influencer yet. Maybe a few years down the road. But my word of advice to anybody, if they want an opinion or want a leader, is go do your own homework. Go find out who these candidates are, find out what they stand for, and you make your vote count at the ballot. I don't see the need to endorse a candidate in order to support them, but that's just my opinion.
I know.
Same there. I like that, Kevin.
And I think that, I mean, and it's not, it's not that I think it's not where we are we're not bashing anything. We're saying if you want election integrity, it got to start in the primary.
Right.
Move it out of the way. Let the people choose who they want as their representation.
Right.
After the people choose, then you heard from the people.
Right. And this is the thing about this is we're not running a popularity contest. This is not the Miss America contest where we find the prettiest, most well-spoken, not even most well-spoken, they look best in a bikini, right? We're not looking for popularity. We're looking for values and principles. So when they say in this thing, you're supposed to sign this unity pledge that you will endorse the 2020, if you don't get nominated in the primary election, you will endorse the 2022 Republican nominee, regardless of who it is, and do everything in your power to assist them in winning the election. Well, what if you don't believe in what they stand for? I have an article right here talking about two of our governor candidates, our GOP candidates, who want election oversight to go to the duties of the Attorney General and the Secretary of State. They want to countermand our Constitution and hand over duties that belong to our state legislation. So you tell me, if these two get endorsed, that I'm supposed to, if I was a candidate in this running, that I'm supposed to just step back and go, yeah, I'll support you, even though I don't agree with everything you have to say.
Wait, Sarah. We made a promise to Ed that we will name names. So.
Oh, yes, sorry. Okay, so our two GOP candidates. Okay, so Rebecca Cleavish, she wants to she released a plan on Monday to create a new office. Okay, so this from the Republican Party platform, who are supposedly less government, right? This is our stance that we take. We want less government. She wants to create a new office within the State Department of Justice that would give the Attorney General the jurisdiction to prosecute voting violations, shift election audits to the DOJ, and make it easier for the public to obtain copies of the state voter list, among other changes. Now, some of this all sounds great, right? It sounds great because it's like, oh, well, it's making it more open and honest, right? She wants to call this the Office of Election Integrity and Public Trust. They would be tasked with performing an audit before and after each election. Not all of, and this is the kicker. The WEC is the problem that we are facing right now that we need to fix, because we need to get that committee out of the way, the commission out of the way, and give the power back to the legislature to decide our elections. The problem is she doesn't actually want to take away the WEC. That organization is still going to stay. She's just going to shift some of their duties over to this new office in our government. The other one is Kevin Nicholson. He wants to shift the duties of the Wisconsin election. So he wants to get rid of the Wisconsin Elections Commission. That's great. He wants to shift their duties to the Secretary of State's office. Now tell me something. Have either of them read our Constitution? Because they're taking a job that belongs to our state legislature constitutionally, and they're putting a plan in place that is going to, if they get into office, is going to shift the legislators' roles and responsibilities to other unelected officials, and some of them elected, but several unelected officials are going to be taking over the oversight for our elections. Now, where are the people in this?
Well, let's see. Hold on.
So Ed's asking, what does this have to do with the RPW and the endorsement process? So this is what we're talking about with the endorsement process. Is what this endorsement process is doing is having it's okay. So let me start back a little bit before. They define viability of people who are qualified to be endorsed, right? They have, this committee decides based on a list of abstract concepts that they've figured out, what they believe will qualify, say, Dr. King to continue running, to continue to be qualified to be endorsed. So here's the list of things that they say. The viability, they'll be conducting these interviews to discuss this candidate's viability. They say, oh gosh, here we go. Where is it? The purpose of the viability interviews is to determine if you have met the minimum qualifications to be considered for endorsement. So minimum qualifications are, where is that paper? They have to file all necessary paperwork. Okay, that's, everybody's got to do that. They must be a member in good standing in their local county Republican Party. Okay, we're getting a little bit clubbish here. They must have an established campaign plan, demonstrate they have the ability to mount a statewide campaign and strategy on how to win the general election. So basically, they've got to come up with, this is how I'm going to win the election. This is my campaign. This is, what I'm going to do. And they have to prove that they have the guts, the wherewithal to be able to pull it off. The next thing is they have to sign a recent copy of each platform. So they have to look back at the 2021 platform. No, 2020. It was updated so they have to look at that one. They've got to agree with it and sign it. And then they've got to look at the 2016 and what was the other one? They had a couple of them. And they've got to basically agree with all of those previous platforms. And then they have to demonstrate their ability to raise funds. Well, we already know that in New Jersey, somebody got in with less than $3,000 worth of
$153.
Okay, $153. I had heard that it was about $3,000. There's a few different numbers running around. Maybe it was after, I don't know. Regardless, he got in with very little funding, and he managed to kick out the incumbent, who was a lifelong Democrat. So they're telling you have to raise at least $100,000 in order to stay viable as a candidate for endorsement. That's for governor. Lieutenant governor, you have to raise at least $50,000, and then they tell you have to have at least 300 contributors. So they're breaking this down even more and putting all of these qualifications in place and saying this is what you have to do in order to continue to be considered for endorsement at state convention. So they are already trying to weed out the candidates before we even get to state convention and before we even get to the primary. And that's the thing that bothers me the most, is that before we even get to the primary, we are already, people behind the scenes in the Republican Party are already telling us in small secret ballots who they believe is the correct person to run for office. And I mean, it goes on. They define all of this stuff. I mean, okay, so number 6, this should have been number 1 in qualifications. Candidate must have knowledge of the issues that pertain to the office for which they are running, which they will demonstrate during a presentation not more than 10 minutes. So why is the knowledge of the issues you're working on as this candidate, why is that way down on the list above all of these other things? Because if you don't even get through all of these other things, well, then they're not even going to consider number 6. Here, let's see what else. Obviously, they can't be a member of any other political party. And then this number 9, they have to sign the Republican Party Wisconsin post-primary unity pledge and pledge not to engage in smear campaign tactics against other Republican candidates. So smear campaign tactics could just be you saying, I'm not voting for this person because they don't support constitutional carry. That they could define that as a smear tactic.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And I think that I think when you look at it, and what we have to do is we have to be very, very careful that we don't divide. We just need to stand our ground on what we believe, what we don't believe. Make sure that our message is getting out as a candidate, and getting people to see what you do. The time out of just thinking, okay, we're gonna just run these ads and people just going, that's over. We saw that in Jersey. This man spent $153 and won by 2,000 votes.
Yeah.
So
and you're not talking about running against a new candidate. You're talking about running against an incumbent who is unbeatable. Right. That's what they were all saying. There was no way this person was getting into office. Let me tell you something. If you raise up a team, if you raise up an army of people who are willing to fight against the system, look at what we can. 1/3 of the American people led the Revolutionary War. 1/3 of them worked both sides. They, bought and sold goods for both sides, or they stayed neutral. And then 1/3 of them fought against us leaving Great Britain. So don't tell me that the minority group who didn't raise $50,000 and didn't sign the Unity Pledge can't get into office, because you are already stating it. You're already stating what's the word? Not self-fulfilling prophecy. You are already cutting out people who have the integrity, who have the character, and who have the heart of the people behind them, because they don't match your standards, your abstract standards that you created in a small committee of people who are supposedly representing how many million people are in Wisconsin? 3 million people. And we're supposed to say that these few elite people are representing all of us when they decide who they should put on the ballot.
Okay, what?
Let's see.
Okay, we're gonna look that up for the truck driver.
So that was the article that I had seen. So regardless of whether it was $153 or $2,300, the point is that he did not meet any of the standards that this Republican Party in Wisconsin would be demanding of our candidates, and yet he managed to take out an incumbent, a Democrat, a lifelong Democrat who would not have been unseated by anyone else. So I mean, I don't know what to say. I like this, just all of this, and we are, our supposed party is making it harder and harder for us to find men and women of character to stand in these offices, because they're weeding out all of those, and they're putting in their establishment candidates.
One of the things that I look at with all of this that's going on is that for a person to go along, it's like one of those, what was I watching some years ago, The Simpsons. Okay. and Mr. Burns, right? At one time he was a billionaire. And they had this camp for billionaires, and he lost some money. That he went from a billionaire just to a millionaire, and they kicked him out of the club because he didn't have enough money to even sit with them and everything.
Yep.
And that's the problem when we start looking at as clubs or organizations or anything of that nature,
Yep.
because I don't want you to be. I don't care if you're a person of character. I don't care if you are a person of integrity, a person for the people. If
Yeah.
you're not singing our song, then we got to do whatever we got to do to get you out, because now you are in our way.
Yep. Exactly.
Now you in the way.
And
And so being in the way, we got to figure out a way to get you out the way. So even though if you do not go along with the endorsement process, we still got to figure out a way to get you out the way.
yeah.
So, so when you look at it, right, you look at what's going on. And one of the things that I fear that Ed mentioned, and I definitely don't want to see. Let me find it. Oh, here it is. Because I don't want. My goal is make sure he doesn't get another 4 years.
Yeah.
But here's the thing about it: if we don't, if we don't get our act together on our side, and here's the problem that I have with our side, because according to the Republican Constitution, or whatever you want to call it, they say we are the party of God. God is not the author of confusion.
Mm-hmm.
And so, if we're supposed to be the party of God, then God is not the author of confusion. You know, um, I my thing is, whether I sign it or not, which I won't sign it, whether I raise the 50,000 or not, the money is steady coming in to try to beat the March 15 deadline, I still don't qualify because I'm not signing nothing.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, and you can get. I mean, so Frank is asking, are the requirements only to get the endorsement? You can still get on the ballot. So if you
Yeah,
don't
you
get
can
the
still get
endorsement,
on the ballot. Matter of fact, you got to start April 1st getting your signatures. So you
yeah.
will have enough signatures to make the ballot and still don't get the endorsement.
Yeah, but basically it's the Republican Party's way of trying of, like I said before, just edging out the people that they don't believe are qualified to continue forward in order. And their whole idea is, we were talking about this, their whole explanation is, well, we want party unity. We don't want to be divided along party lines and along, all of these little I'm going for this candidate and I'm going for this candidate. And we've fought that battle for how long, and it's not doing us any favors.
Right.
It's not helping our cause at all. And I let's see, can you cross out what you don't agree with?
No, I wish we could cross it out, but here's the thing about it with me. I'm still gonna play fair. I'm still gonna walk in integrity. Whether I make it to the convention or not, I'm still going to do my part on. I might even be like Mark Newman. When Mark Newman ran for governor against Walker, he came downtown to the state convention. He never went in the building. He just stayed outside and talked to people as they was going in and out.
Yeah.
So and Frank, you're right. Republicans fight each other more harder than we fight the Democrats.
Yeah.
It's like we ain't got no backbone fighting the Democrats, and then all of a sudden, when it's us, and you know what? I really don't think it's the qualification that it is. It's that you're not talking like us. You're not sounding like us. You sound too much like the people. You're not singing the same song, or you're singing it off tune, or we're all beating bass drums and you're beating a snare drum, and and so it's either sound like us or get out the way. That's what it really is.
Yeah, and so there is a legal context for this, because under the laws of the campaign finance and all of that stuff, the endorsements from local and county parties cannot take place for like for the gubernatorial elections, for the legislatures and all of that, we cannot start throwing money towards any particular candidate until these endorsements take place. That again is one more obstacle that they've thrown in the way for, so individuals can, so I'm the party treasurer here in Jackson County. I individually can support Dr. King, but the Jackson County Party, Republican Party, cannot put any money behind him until he passes, until he's endorsed by state convention. And again, it's one more obstacle that's thrown in the way, because it's the laws that are superseding the Constitution of our United States of America, and they should be nullified.
And that's why I tell people, don't give the money to the party, give it to the candidate.
Mm-hmm.
Give it to the candidate, because if you give it to the party, the candidate might not never see it.
Yep, it's true.
So that's why it's important to give it to the candidate. Now, the thing about it is, I'm not one of those candidates. If you beat me fair and square, fine. If I have no problem with it. If you beat me in August, I will support whoever beat me in August.
Mm-hmm.
If they play fair. But if you guys got to understand, we are not robot. I like what you call says. We don't want robots. We want people that think and not be told what to think. So if that's the case, then we have to start. And I tell everywhere I go, I say, the party is not listening to the people.
Yeah.
And
yep.
so Virginia was not won by the Republican Party. Virginia was won by the people. And even the guy in Jersey, the Democrat, he says the people was upset. They was upset with the vaccine and all of that. That's why he lost.
Yeah.
He lost because the people were sick and tired of the mess.
Yes.
And we already know how the party looks. If it's a strong Democrat, the party ain't giving no money, because they're going to say you can't win.
Yeah.
So this man went out, and we the people helped him win.
Mm-hmm.
God is our source.
Yes.
Let me see who said that. Oh, that's Stacy. Okay. All right, Stacy. I got you. So the thing about it is what we have to do is what we have to figure out is, how do we stay unified in the midst of all of this chaos? Because see, this is what we got. We got chaos. You don't hear nothing about the Democrat side right now. You don't have what? They got an open seat for lieutenant governor. Right now, it's only 3 people. It's not 100. It's 3 people. Right now, we got 9. And I won't be surprised if somebody else get in to make the odds better for whoever they might want to be in office. But the thing about it is, we got 9 people, 9 people running for an office. And now I love the number, because I look at it like the WWE, the Royal Rumble. Throw somebody off the cage and you go to WrestleMania. Just throw everybody off the top rope. So, but the thing about it is this: we should allow people to battle it out without any interference until the 9th. And then I agree with what Christopher Lawrence is saying right here.
Yep. Give the candidates the chance to, up until the primaries, to go and work the field, work with the people, get down in the dirt with them. Have candidates show up at the, I don't know, at a work site and pitch in, like, not just to ceremonially throwing a shovel full of dirt, but have them get there and work with these people who they're going to be representing, right? Give them a hard hat and show them the ropes, right? This is what I was talking about earlier with the whole idea of playing not to lose. We, as a Republican Party, our focus is on winning an election. We're not focused anymore on winning this country, on winning the people, the hearts of the people. We're focused on every election season. And as soon as election is over, we start the brand new season of elections, right? We start that. It's like hunting season, right? You get inundated with all of the ads and all of the, I swear I get stacks of these ads and these papers. They go straight in my garbage because I don't care. I'm going to talk to each candidate personally, and I'm going to discover for myself which one stands by the values that I hold dear. And that's what I meant about playing not to lose instead of playing to win. If we were playing to win, we would be focused on the long-term future, not on whether our candidate gets into office, although that is an important thing, but that's the people's job, is to worry about the candidates getting into office. As a party, if we still have a party, our job is to look to the long term and start putting forward the candidates that we see working among the people, representing the people before they even get into office, and showing their integrity and showing their honesty and stuff. That's what we should be doing.
Yes. And the thing is that, you're absolutely right. We got to stop looking at the next election and start looking at the next generation and making sure that it's set up for them. And then as we go, then we pass a baton that they take it to the next level. Not decrease, but it should be increasing. And the thing about it is that when we look at this election coming up, this election is not Democrat, Republican.
Nope.
This election is good versus evil. This election is the future of our children and grandchildren. This election is making sure that whatever or whoever we put in office has the people best interest at heart. Not the party, but the people.
Yep. And if they don't, then we will do our absolute best as the people to make their life a living hell for the next 4 years. Yes. We're going to be outside of their office every day telling them this is what the people want. We want the right to life. We want the sanctity of life to be clearly defined and protected. We want freedom. And we want government out of our regulations and licensing and all of these things. We want the ability to have private property again, right? All of these things that we supposedly stand for in the Republican Party. Less government, more money in the people's pockets, all of those things. That is what we should be bringing to every single office of every single legislature, Democrat or Republican, it doesn't matter. I've had letter writing campaigns to Tammy Baldwin. I can't stand the woman. But I'm going to continue to write to her. I'm going to continue to show up, and I'm going to continue to question her purpose in that office. Are you representing the people? Right? And the people, as in the values that this nation was founded on, right? The values that make this nation great. The people who represent that, those are the patriots that should be fighting for who's in office. And people who hate America and want to destroy it, why we are giving them the seats in our government because we are continuing to fight about who gets endorsed in our party.
And we're giving them the green light. We're saying, okay, go ahead, take our freedom. We don't want it. Do whatever you want to do with our freedom. I think that, a lot of people, as we travel the state, a lot of people is like, okay, how do we come out of this? How do we fix it? How do we change some of the things? And we see that neither side want to change it, because if the people go back in power and take their power back, if the people does that, then they're looking at it like, oh my God, okay, we're losing control. Well, you didn't have control in the first place. Right. We sent you there to represent us, but you didn't represent us. So since you didn't represent us, we have to move you and go get someone that is going to represent us.
Yeah.
And that's just bottom line. How do we fix it? Remove the waste.
Yes.
In the Bible, always got to bring the Bible up in this, but in the Bible, King Saul was fired before he even left the castle. God had fired him before he left the castle and appointed another king even before he left the castle.
Yep.
And then Jesus gave an illustration of a king calling his servant to him and said, now give an account for what you've done.
Yep.
This election time is where we should say to every elected official, it's time for you to give an account.
Yep.
And if their account doesn't line up with what we have wanted,
yep,
then you're fired. And we need to put somebody else there. And we're not giving them. And here's the thing, what we got to stop doing too. We're not going to give, and I don't want you to give me your next lieutenant governor. I don't want you to give me another 4 years if I can't produce in the first 4 years.
Exactly.
You know, why are we giving them 4, 8, 12, 16 years and they've done nothing for you? I think it's time that we say, okay, it's time. It's accountability time. Yeah. Tammy Baldwin should have been fired, but there's a lot of Republicans should have been fired. Matter of fact, a lot of elected officials right now on the Republican side should be fired because they didn't stand up for us. Yeah. They didn't protect us. They didn't tell us to keep our business open. They didn't tell us to keep our churches open. They didn't tell us don't go along with the mandates. They didn't tell us all the information on vaccines so we could choose for ourselves. They didn't do none of that. All they did was hide and wrote some stuff on a paper that they knew was going to get vetoed.
Yeah.
I mean, so they all should be gone because you're not representing us.
Well, and here's the thing. If we the people did our jobs and did what we were constitutionally required to do, our government on all three branches would be an as needed job. They call them per diem jobs, right? It wouldn't be a full-time job for these people. They would go when it was necessary to make a law to clarify something, right? Or to make sure that the rights of the people were protected. But right now we have full-time legislators, we have full-time governors, we have full-time judiciary who are deciding for the people how Wisconsin is going to be run, how the United States are going to be run, where our money is going, all of these things. If we, the people, were doing our jobs and we were fighting back against all of this government oversight and living our private lives and stepping out of the regulations and the statutory compliance and all of this stuff, if we stopped asking for permission for our rights to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, our government would be a part-time job. Yeah. And it's not.
And Frank is right.
Mm-hmm.
The local government is the foundation of the state.
Yep.
If we can't even control and take our local back, and then once we take the local back, we're speaking volume to both parties and saying, you know what, we're sick of this.
Mm-hmm.
And this is why you got more people active in this election this year than any other election, because people are saying enough is enough. We're not putting up with it anymore. You know what? We're going to start local and we're going to work our way, because they had us backwards. They had us focus on the president election and they were stealing everything else underneath, because why? We wasn't paying no attention. But we woke now. We are woke. W-O-K-E, we are woke. And we're going to let people know, and so here's the thing about it. When you know what, our elected official, and I'm looking at what Kevin said, but our elected officials, it's like this. I manage COVID opened up a lot of people's eyes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it did. But I manage a lot of people in 30 years of managing $1 million companies, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I never fired one person. Never fired one. You know why? I just did my job. And what do I mean by that? Awake, not woke. Who said that?
I was going to say something about that. It's not the progressive woke, right?
I'm from the hood. We woke. I know the proper word is awake, but we're woke. We from the hood. We woke. But
we're redeeming that term.
Right. So So out of 30 years, I never fired nobody, right? And this is why I tell them, you got to do your job. And if you don't do yours, I got to do mine.
Mm-hmm.
Because if I don't do mine, then the owner's going to do theirs. So somebody down the line got to do their job. So if you don't want to, if you don't do your job, you fired yourself.
Yeah.
Right? So our elected officials didn't do their job.
Yeah.
Somebody said I'm a mess. Okay, I told y'all I was a mess. Come on now. Okay, all right. Y'all know what? I'm gonna be like everybody else. I'm gonna put on this fake person and be this fake person, and I'm gonna try to just be whatever y'all want me to be. Psych, you know I can't do that. I'm me. But the elected official is hired by us to work for us.
Yeah.
And we just allow them to stay there.
Yeah.
And
I make a career out of it.
Stacy a mess. Look at that. But and so in the process of understanding where the power lies, the power lies in the hands of the people.
Yeah.
Okay. There were some people running for mayor in Milwaukee, right?
Yep.
Senator Lena Taylor was one of them, right?
Oh.
And the people spoke and said, "We don't want you."
Good.
Every time she tried, they wouldn't vote for it. So the people are saying, "We don't want you." So for a minute, she thought the power was in her hand. But when it was election time, she realized, oh, wow, the power's not in my hand. Yeah. The power's in the people's hand. No matter what I say, no matter what I do, a lot of people, they starting to vet.
Yeah.
And so I got to learn y'all word. People be like, I betted you. So, okay, bet me all day long. But they starting to investigate and they starting to ask questions. And that's what people have done since COVID. They starting to ask questions. Why did our economy is where it at right now? And why is not growing? Why we got so many companies that are trying to mandate? Okay, you're giving a $2,000 bonus, but every time I come to work, you're gonna stick something in my nose? No.
Yeah.
No. Get rid of the mandates. Get rid of that crap, and we'll come back to work.
Yeah.
Get rid of the mask. We'll come back to work.
Yeah.
So the problem that people don't pay attention to and realize is this: the economy is slow because nobody want to work, and if I ain't working, I'm not making no money. So if I'm not making no money, I can't spend.
Yeah.
And then you got, who is it? Evers saying you ain't got to work. Biden saying you ain't got to work. We're just going to give you free money.
Yep.
And anytime something is free, you become the product.
Yep.
So
yeah. So this should be our strategy on every level. We are not playing to win an election. We're playing to win the culture. We're playing to win our constitutional rights back. We're playing to win all of the things that we gave up over 10 decades of slowly but surely surrendering our freedoms for the sake of a little security. We deserve neither of them until we are willing to fight for that freedom again.
Yes.
So that should be our strategy, not whether or not we should have a little cat fight in the lieutenant governor race, and whether we should put strategies in place to prevent that from happening. But we should be looking at, what are we doing on our local levels? What are we doing as individuals in self-governance? What are we doing to educate our public in order to start winning back our culture? So we may lose this race. God forbid that happen. But if we do, our battle doesn't end. And it doesn't start again. It doesn't start over at square one with the next election cycle.
No.
Our battle is always for the soul of America, the principles and the foundations that created it. And the people are the ones who are supposed to be fighting that battle.
And we will not lose this one. Let me just clarify. We
exactly.
will not lose this one.
Exactly.
But I also, when you were saying that, right? And we have to look at it in a way where what do we need to do to stay unified? Everybody got their favorites, right?
Hmm.
Um, I'll give you an example, prime example. As everybody know, I'm a diehard Pittsburgh Steelers fan, diehard since 1969, right? So we didn't make it to the Super Bowl. So guess who I cheer for? The Cincinnati Bengals. Why did I cheer for the Bengals? Simply because the Bengals is part of the AFC North, right? They come from the AFC. I don't
Yep.
like the NFC. So I'm going to, even though my team didn't make it, I cheered for the one that came out on top.
Hmm.
And that's what we got to do. If your candidate doesn't make it out of August, you still have to work hard because your team is still in it.
Yeah.
It's just not your candidate. So we
Right.
still have a common goal, and that's to make Tony Evers a one-term governor.
Yep.
And we got to be careful on how we do this endorsement process. We have to be careful on how we offend people because, like I
Mhm.
said before, we cannot afford to blow up the bridge that we got to cross over again on August 10th.
Right.
We just can't do that.
Right.
We have to be respectful. But wait a minute. If we the party of God, don't we supposed to be respectful?
Yeah. You
I
think?
mean, I'm kind of confused because when people tell me they of God, I have to check and question certain things because God says you will know them by the fruit they bear. So
Hmm.
if that's the case, then we supposed to be carrying and conducting ourselves in a way that people know we are different. That what they say, you got two wings, and you got a left wing and a right wing, but it's on the same bird. We don't supposed to be on that same bird,
Hmm.
you
Yeah.
know. So we got to figure out a way to win, but not just to win the election, like you say. We got to win for the next generation and the next
Hmm.
generation.
Yep.
And we have to not be able to pick from the lesser of the two evils.
Right.
We have
Because
to be able to we got to give people hope. We got to
yeah.
give people candidates where they can hope
Right.
that will make them want to go out and vote. That will make them want. We got to have a message for them. And I'm sorry, freeing the slaves is not a message for the inner city of any country, any city in this country. Oh,
Hmm.
well, we freed the slave. Then Janet Jackson said, "Well, what have you done for me lately?" You know, we got to move away from that, and we have to have a message that resonate with the people,
Yeah.
that the people can see the vision of the message and
Yep.
run with it.
Yep.
And that's what we're missing right now. We as a party, we don't have a message for the people because we only have a message for the party, and
Yeah.
that is what's hurting us right now. And
Yep.
because we're always on the defense, trying to show we're not racism, trying to
Yeah.
show, you can't win elections like that. That's why we lost the 11 out of the last 12 statewide elections.
Hmm. Yep.
Why? Because our message are not resonating with the people.
Right.
And so if we can't get that message out there, that message of freedom, that message of liberty, that message of our children's future, if we can't,
Yeah.
that message of growing the economy, that message of standing up for what we believe in and doing the things that we're doing, if we cannot deliver that message in a way that people believe us, then he's going. I don't care who you put up there. He's
Yeah.
going to be in there for another 4 years. But
Yep.
if we deliver that message and the people can resonate with that message and people know that the party of God really has God on their side because they're
Right.
listening and they're seeing things happening, then we're going to win. But
Yep.
we're going to win for one reason only. We're going to win for the people of the state of Wisconsin and
Right.
not just the party. And
Right.
we have to be honest with ourselves and say, you know what? If we look at this from the gentleman club, we're going to lose.
Yep.
But if we look at it from we the people club, then we're going to win, and we're going to always win. And
Yep.
that is what we have to do. Our message sucks right now.
Yeah.
Wait a minute, what did he say?
That's funny. Oh no, not Frank's. I was looking at Kevin's.
Oh,
yes,
Kevin.
Frank, that is correct. Making it a responsibility and a duty to vote, and giving you, it's an honor for us to go to the polls to make these choices for our country.
Oh yeah, and people got to feel like that. They got to
Right.
feel like being a prime. I give you a prime example. You know why Obama won?
You're gonna tell me.
He had one of, and I hate to say this, but I got to tell the truth. He had one of the most powerful message.
Yep.
Right? The message he delivered, the way they delivered it, they took a Republican and a Democrat and put on the same T-shirt.
Yep.
Dr. Martin Luther King was not a Democrat.
Yep.
But his message, the message, people that never voted went out to vote.
Mm-hmm.
Even though after they voted, they got mad. but that message, I mean, he just came out of nowhere and he had that message. And that message resonated with the average people.
I think you're correct in that. I think the one problem that we have, though, is we've got to make sure that our message is based on foundational principles. Whereas, I mean, his whole message was about, let's fundamentally change our nation, right? Let's fundamentally change it. We need to make the fundamental principles of this nation sexy again. I mean, it's kind of a weird way of saying it, but he was so seductive in that poll. Like, oh, look at all of this bad stuff that's happened in our nation. Look at all of these things that are dividing and conquering, and all of these things we need to change it all from the ground up, right? And he made that message sexy. It was a dangerous message because he was literally saying, we're doing away with the old stuff. We're doing away with our Constitution and what it stands for. But he made it appealing to a large number of people, and they voted for it because it was such a seductive message. We need to make the message that foundational principles, that truth, that the sanctity of life, all of those things are actually a really seductive thing, like a very good thing. And I'm not saying seductive as in sensual, but as in a good thing to hold on to fight for. We are so bad as conservatives in giving out this message. And you are one of the first candidates I've seen who actually makes this message come alive, right? It gives you something worth fighting for. Like Frank said, it's an honor to be a citizen. And thank you, Frank, for coming to this country, even with all of the mess that we're in. You're representing us because you're representing this country because you saw it was something worth keeping, right? We need to make that message sexy again, because that's a message. This country is worth keeping. The good, the bad, and the ugly, we own it. And we can make it better the more we fight to protect what we started, what our foundational principles were, right?
Right. Hey, but you know what? Here's the thing about it. I tell people, an excuse is a lie wrapped in a coat.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Truth is sexy.
It is.
Truth is sexy. When we speak truth, we're speaking, what is it? Really, Kevin? Make politics sexy again. But truth is...
I started something there.
Truth is sexy.
It is.
You know, truth is... You'll be like, oh my God, that was like... And you know, it's like, really? But truth is sexy. So when you start telling truth, right?
Yeah.
It gives people that sense of be like, ooh, yeah, right. Wow. Mm-hmm. And truth is sexy because you don't have to fake it. Okay. Yeah. All right. Yeah, because to me, that's why I always say I'm never going to tell you what you want to hear, but I'm going to tell you what you need to hear. Because why? truth is so sexy and so
Mhm.
sweet and so powerful. And even when you speak truth, folks is mad at you, but they went home thinking about what you said.
Yep. And if it is couched in terms to reach the hearts of the people, it will. I mean, think about. I know we talked about this at a previous on a previous chat when I shared about George Washington and his message to the people during the Revolutionary War. There was a point where we were losing on all fronts, and it just seemed like there was no hope, and people were like, we're not getting paid, we don't even have shoes to cover our bloody feet, our guns aren't working, like we are vastly outnumbered, we're losing, we want to go home. And George Washington, it wasn't his speech that drew them in, it wasn't his bearing and the fact that he'd been leading his armies for so long, and they trusted him, they loved George Washington. None of that mattered, though. In the end, what pulled these people back was when he touched their hearts by saying, I'm sorry, I beg your pardon, I've gone gray and blind in service to my country. And they looked at this old man who has given every last drop of his blood to this country. He paid in his life, his fortunes, and his sacred honor he gave to preserve a foundational, principled nation. And they looked at that, what all of the rest of us would have seen as weak and ineffective, right? He was old, blind, and gray. He couldn't read the letter. And they looked at that and they saw a man they were willing to follow, even if it meant they lost.
Yeah.
Now that's what we need again. And in his farewell address, they wanted him back. They were going to try to, what happens is they push forward candidates back then, and then they elected a candidate and said, okay, you're running for president, you're now president, right? George Washington was not aware that he was on the ballot. He was put on the ballot and they said, here, we're giving you the presidency. And he accepted it twice because it was an honor for him to serve, even though he wanted to just go home to Mount Vernon and farm and live on his estate. He'd given enough, right? He stepped up and he took that position because they handed it to him. And then after the second time, he said, I'm not doing this again, not because I don't want the success of this nation, not because I don't believe in it anymore. None of that. It's because I realize that it is my time to step down so another can stand in that space. And so while I'm honored that you chose me again, I'm making way for the next man to stand in this position. That's the type of candidate we need. That's the type of people we need to be on the front lines, on the local levels, standing up and saying, okay, truth is sexy. And I may not look as flashy and as I'm not giving away free money. I'm not taxing you up the wazoo and then giving you back some in your return that you filed, right? None of that. I'm telling you, you have the power over your life, and you have the responsibility, and you have the honor of being a citizen of the greatest nation in the world. And so use that. This is a good thing. It's a good thing for you.
It is. And Kevin, I just want you to know, you heard it first on here. Truth is sexy.
Amen.
You heard it first on here from Dr. David King. Truth is sexy. So, and when I first listened to how the national anthem, right?
Mm-hmm.
How it came about.
Mm-hmm.
It made me just to listen to it. And one day I'm going to play it on the show. But it just made me feel honored, to not only just be an American, but to be a believer.
Yep.
It was like, wow, for real, to be a believer, to hear how it came about, Yep. And so, and to me, I take it as an honor to be a believer and a candidate to run for office to represent God in this time, in this season where we need hope again and we need change. And I'm not talking about Obama's hope and change. I'm talking about real change where the Bible says when the righteous are in office, the people rejoice. So, those are the changes that I'm looking for, that we can make this nation, Wisconsin. A lot of people don't realize Wisconsin is a nation, that this nation make God Lord over them again, because then we can prosper, because it says, blessed is the nation who God is Lord. So, so once we return that, then we can enjoy some things. And so I'm honored to be on the front line. I'm honored to travel the state. I'm honored to stand for what I believe in, whether I sign anything or I don't sign anything, whether I run to try to get an endorsement or I don't run and try to get an endorsement. Yeah. It's more of, I want the people endorsement. That's what I need. Okay, because if I go get somebody else who really don't know me and they endorse me, it means nothing to me.
Yeah.
Now, I got different pastors across the state that endorse me. That means something to me because they're my co-laborers and they know my character and they know who I am. And so those kind of endorsements, people like you, those kind of endorsements is because why? You guys vetted me. You guys know about me. You guys watch me, people like Kevin. Kevin Nut is a nut for investigation. Okay. He's a nut for investigation. And I told him, I don't never want to make you mad. I don't never want to fight you, because Kevin did, I think, Kevin, how long was it? 4.5 hour, 5 hour investigation on me. So he did 4.5 hours to 5 hours looking me up and investigated me. And when he pulled out stuff I forgot about, he pulled out, he said 5 days.
Oh, wow.
So he pulled stuff out. He pulled out videos that I forgot I did interviews with Channel 12 and a couple hours a night. Okay. But he did those interviews and he found out, those kind of people that says I endorse you because they did their homework, not because I sound good. I don't never want to sound good. I just want to tell you the truth.
Yeah.
I'm the same. If I got one person there, if I got 100 people there, I'm going to continue to be the same. My energy going to be the same. Why? Because I believe in what I'm doing. I believe in what I'm doing. I believe in the people of Wisconsin. I believe we can have a great state again. A better state. I don't even want to say great. A better state because God is at the helm. I believe that we can change things from a local level all the way up to the top level. So that's why when I see local candidates that's running for office, I don't have a problem going by them, endorsing them, speaking with them. Wait a minute, Stacy said I got 90 days. Okay, Stacy, we know you got 90 days. 90 days of you. Okay. And then what is this?
First impressions are important. Yeah. I agree, Frank.
So the thing about it is, when you really, really understand that you have an assignment, and that assignment is to help fix our country, those guys, the founding fathers, they didn't think about themselves. They thought about the country. How do we get, and then they got stuck. So they say, okay, we need to pray. Why? Because if we pray, we're going by the guidance of God and not the guidance of ourselves. The principles of God, the government of God. And the thing about it is this: when we start doing homework, it could be 100 people in the lieutenant governor's race. If you start doing homework on each candidate, you will automatically start eliminating folks.
Yep.
Let me tell you this. For local races, I go to them, I find out who's running, I talk with them, I endorse them, all over the state, I endorse them and things, right?
Yep.
So the other weekend, a lady in Milwaukee is running for county supervisor. So she saw me on Saturday morning and she said, right before I came to Black River Falls, she said, I need to talk to you because I need you to endorse me. I was like, okay. So she called me the other day and she was like, I was just wondering, can you endorse me? I said, I'll tell you what I'll do. if you can come out and endorse me right now, I can endorse you. Well, I don't think I can come out right now. It's so many of y'all. I'm sitting there like, but you want my endorsement.
Yeah.
But you can't come out and endorse. But you want my endorsement because I know people in the Brown Deer area.
Yep.
So you want to be able to say, Dr. King endorsed me, but yet you don't want to come out and endorse me. I said, since you can't endorse me, I cannot endorse you.
Yeah.
And I said, because if you believe in somebody, you can stand behind them.
Yep.
But if I'm ever wrong, I don't want y'all standing behind me. I want y'all to slap me, unless you're gonna slap me in the back of the head and say, get it right. But and one of the things that we're doing is when we pick candidates, even when they wrong, we stay with them.
Mm-hmm.
But that's a red flag. That's like if Jake, right? Before y'all got married and you saw red flag, you ain't marrying Jake.
Well, I will say there are a lot of people who actually ignore those red flags and do. I was very fortunate and blessed that God gave me a very good man. But I mean, it's amazing to me how many people ignore those red flags, and it's human nature. We don't, unless it's a bold out in, like a neon flashing sign in front of our faces. A lot of times we just like, oh, let's sweep that under the rug. We'll be okay.
Right.
And yeah, but I was very blessed to have a husband who didn't put up those red flags. But yeah, it is interesting.
But we got these neon signs. We get the neon sign. I'm not for you. I showed you over divorce lawyer.
If we return to our constitutionally protected and God-given principles, Frank, we won't need divorce lawyers.
Talking about divorce lawyers need business.
They need to find a new job.
I know, but and as we go through though, and yeah, a lot of stuff is disturbing, and a lot of things are happening, and
yeah,
and going on with our side, and
mm-hmm.
not just the endorsement. It's just how they do things. Period.
Yeah.
If you're not one of them, then we always have this saying that if you how we go? Oh, if you're not at the table, you own the menu. Okay, let's see what he say.
That's funny.
Oh, so and the thing about it is, if we're not careful, and I really believe the Democrats are sitting back laughing and say, look at them.
Yeah.
If the Democrats is doing it, they're not letting it known. They're not letting it known. They're not. If they're fighting, they might have they pick who they want for the next lieutenant governor, but you'll never know. You'll never know. But what do? We do all kind of devious stuff, and then people got to speak about it. And then when they speak about it, then you want to holler unity.
Yeah.
You can't have unity and a knife at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Take the knife out of my back, heal me, and then let's have unity.
Yeah, exactly.
There's no way you're gonna have it, and then you're making people upset. You're making people fight against one another. Then you're doing things that is saying, well, if mines don't win, I'm not going to vote. That's the dumbest thing I ever heard in my life.
Yeah.
Why you not going to support the next candidate if yours don't win? Because I thought that the main goal was to preserve our freedom, give our children a better future, give the power back to the parents, make sure that the election is fair and right, and get rid of either. Get rid of them. But I don't. If the how should I say this? The most dangerous stuff is this. If we're just getting rid of Evers just so we can say we got a Republican governor, we're in trouble.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah,
But
and I think that's where it just I mean, playing devil's advocate for just a minute. I think that's where a lot of people do justify that not voting for that candidate because they're like, well, like we said before, it's the lesser of two evils. But is it really if they're both one side of the same or two sides of the same coin? And so I get that. I understand that, and it's hard because it is very frustrating when you are following a candidate, you know that they stand for what you value, and you don't get to that final finish line, right? And then they put a candidate in who is in many ways completely opposite of what you were wanting for your candidate. And so it is there is something to be said for that frustration that people carry. Now, I'm not saying that we shouldn't be voting
right,
at all. But yeah, but I think the problem comes is you either get the people who are like, well, I'm not voting at all, or they're like, well, I guess I'll vote for the lesser of two evils, and then they do nothing to change it for the next round, right?
right.
We sit back and we go, well, we'll just have to wait for the next election to fix it, right? No, no matter who gets into office in November, no matter who makes it through the primaries in August, our job is not done at the polls.
Right.
It's just beginning
It's just
because
beginning.
whoever gets into office is not going to be the one who saves us. They might mitigate some of the damage from the previous candidate who was in, but whatever the case, we're the ones responsible, and we've got to keep pushing that point home. We get a say in how our life is lived, in how our nation is run. And so no matter who gets into office, if they don't represent us, then they're not qualified to be there. And so we need to continue to push to fight for the next generation and make sure that that doesn't happen again. It's it's hard. It is really hard, and I've faced that frustration in previous elections where it's like, ugh, the candidate I didn't want didn't get in, or wanted didn't get in, and I just I don't like the pickings.
Right.
but
Then you
but
gotta hold your nose and vote. You'd be like, oh.
and if we remember again, if we remember that is not our final job, that is just the beginning. Our fight still goes forward. We are still responsible for what happens in the next 4 years, 10 years, 20 years. Our fight should last till we don't have any breath left.
And we gotta stop voting on our side and we put them in office and don't hold them accountable.
Exactly.
We need to
Exactly.
be in their doors just as much as we at the Democrats' doors. Matter of fact, we need to be at their door even more
Yep.
than we did because of
Yep.
the fact that we put them there. So we need to be at there and say, okay, you said this, and we need to agitate them until they do what they promised to do. And let them know, since you're not doing that, you better enjoy these 4 years, because when we get done with you,
Yep.
you will not be back. You'll be a one term. And that's the thing we got to send a message to. Whether whoever is office, you don't do what we the people want, you're going to be a one term.
Yep.
Period.
Yeah, and right now we're kind of in a position where we are really in a sense on the back foot. We're on the we don't have the strategic battlefield position. Let's just put it that way. But I will tell you that battles in the Revolutionary War were won from the least strategic position, and we ended up with a wonderful nation. So, we are on the back foot in a sense because we've lost a very good portion of our culture. We've lost even the churches in many places, right? We've lost our foothold that we once had, the black robed regiment that led the people, right? And so it that makes our job all the harder, but it also makes it that much more important.
Yeah. Well,
And
there are a lot of black robe regiments still here. We the 21st century one. I just met
yeah.
with another one. He's a pastor in West Bend,
Mm-hmm.
and he's a black robe regiment as well. And then
Awesome.
there's another pastor who is now finna be. He has no opponent. Finna be a county supervisor in Dodge County. So we
Mm.
got some black rose regiments riding around and
Yep.
doing what needs to be done. I think that when we also look at it, um, I think we got to look at it from a standpoint of saying, okay, how do we unite on August
Mhm.
10th?
Yeah.
How do we do it on August 10th? Because
Mhm.
uh, yes, Matt is also a Black Road Regiment.
Yep.
I just said Roger. He's going to become the county supervisor in Dodge County. I just said
Okay.
that. You didn't put Steve up there since you're putting them all up,
Let's
and
see.
you didn't put Jason Storm up there. So it's a lot of Black Road regiments out here that's doing what needs to be done.
Mhm.
And so we got to just continue to give people hope and,
Yep.
and give them the sexy truth and and let them know that okay, this is what we need to do. This is how we get there. And the thing that we need from you is to continue to hold us accountable. Yes, Steve German, Pastor Steve German. Uh, and the thing about it is, um, when the election is over, the work is began, right? So we have to make sure that each and everybody is doing what needs to be done to make it better. Let me see, people. Okay, I think she froze. She'll be back with us in a second. People. Okay. Yep, she bumped out. Let's see, people. Let's see. Don't realize that there are primaries in August and how many people are running. I told them start your research now because there is many to look at. There's a lot of people to look at with a lot of different races: Secretary of State, Treasurer, Governor, Lieutenant Governor, Attorney General, um, a couple of state rep seats, state Senate seat, Congress, and U.S. Senate seats. So there's a lot of different seats that is that's up. No, Steve German is not running. We saying that he's part of the Black Road, the 21st Century Black Road Regiment. The Black Road Regiment was pastors that left the pulpit to fight for freedom. And that's what these men of God are doing right now. That's what that is. Okay, there you go. So you guys, we still got to be unified on August 10th. So we can't let the endorsement process or anything divide us. We still got to come back together. There she go.
Hey, sorry about that. My computer just went blank screen.
I know you went totally solid on us, and I'm like, okay. Like, she just staring at us now, you guys.
Oh no.
She'll be back. But look, this is what they said while you was gone.
Okay. Speaking of people, it's crazy how many people don't realize there are primaries in August. Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah,
And
we've done a whole lot to muck up the system and make it very difficult for people to we've overcomplicated things.
yes,
we need to return the power back to where it belongs, hands of the people. We need to get all of these extra administrations out and committees and all of these things out of the works and stop gumming it up.
yes. And I think it's time that we got to spend the next 2 months empowering people about the April 15th election
Mhm.
and let them know the power's in your hand. If you're sick and tired of being sick and tired, this is what you can do to change things. And then we
Yeah.
got to empower them to know before you go on vacation in August, make sure you cast that ballot. Make sure you vote because
Yep.
you don't want to get back in November and then the one you really like is not in office because you went on vacation. Still make sure you
Yeah.
vote. Still make sure you do it. And I tell people this way: What makes you want to research? Here's the thing. Look at your children and grandchildren and ask yourself a question. What kind of future will they have
Yeah,
if I don't investigate people?
exactly.
So those are the things. I mean, those are some of the things that we have to look at and say, you know what? Wow. If that's the case, I thought, just like you started off, I thought it was about we the people and not
Mm-hmm.
we a party. And I'm
Yep.
so glad you are a part of. Hey, I'm so glad that you are part of the executive branch. So people can't say, "Oh, she's just not part of the party." No, she's in and she's in the executive position. You
Yep.
know, and she don't like what's going on as much as people that's not even in the party.
Yeah,
And
this is the one I'm fighting for. This
there
one and
you,
4 others.
there you go. Hey,
Can you say hi? No, you're not
he
gonna
said,
say.
"No, I'm not talking to him. I'm fighting for you."
Look at that grin.
uh, let's see.
Mm. Hmm.
Wow, I don't think you're going to get any answers either. I mean, but you know what? That should tell us something. If somebody is not going to answer questions right now, don't expect them to answer questions when when uh when they get in office. It's not
Exactly.
going to happen.
Yeah, if you can't corner them on the important questions and get them to actually give you a straight answer, like we said, truth is sexy. Give me a straight answer. Stop prevaricating, stop beating around the bush. If you can't do that before you even step into that seat, then you have no business being there representing me.
And that's the part where we gotta answer my question. I don't
Yep.
want that cute stuff. Tell
Yep.
me exactly what it is. And and let's see, what do you say?
Probably more attorney general. Yeah.
Yeah. So when we look at it, and people want to ask questions. Somebody put on my page and they asked me a question, and I said to them, "Here's my number. Call me." And when they called me, I said to them, "I wanted you to hear my voice. I want you to be able to um, talk to me direct. Don't
Mm-hmm.
sugarcoat it. Don't just hit me with your question. I'm gonna answer. If I don't know the answer, I tell you I don't know the answer. I get right back with you. But
Yep.
I'm going to know the answer." So I was talking today, and we was talking about the endorsement process and everything, right? And they were
Mm-hmm.
like, "So how are you going to handle that?" I said, "I'm a lion. When a lion see an elephant, he don't see a big elephant. He sees lunch. That's all he sees. He sees lunch.
Mm-hmm.
And so as a lion, I don't see nothing but lunch. And I'm gonna continue to roar until I get the kill. And
Yeah.
a lion don't roar after he kill. He roar before.
Well, and you want to know why?
Why?
This is a cool thing about lions. I did not realize this until just recently. So the male lion is too big and too heavy. He actually doesn't take active part in the hunt. It's the female lions who do the hunting. So when you hear a lion's roar, your instinct is to run away from it, right? So the male lion, when he's roaring, he is actually causing all of the prey to run straight into the jaws of the female lions.
Wow.
They're at the other end of the savannah just waiting for lunch to show up.
Right.
So isn't that interesting? So somebody made that a statement for people in the conservative party. When you hear the lions roar, run towards it, not away from it. Because yeah.
I like that. But wait a minute, who was this?
Stacy. You
Uh
can come over anytime.
I need some baby time. Really? One of the things I also found out about lions is when they're in a battle with hyenas, they go to the male lion goes to the female hyena and bite her where he cripple her. He don't kill her. He just cripple her.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sitting there like, wow, that's so cool. and like I'm like, oh wow. And see, I'm a lion. I love lions.
Mm-hmm.
Uh oh, Stacy, listen what Stacy say.
Oh, I need husband time like now.
So get over there,
I haven't had
Stacy.
a date for months.
And y'all not that far from Stacy. You ain't that far. Get on up there. But I really we really gotta how should we say this? We really gotta continue to talk sexy truth, sexy,
Mhm.
sexy truth.
Yep.
But at the same time, we got to continue to speak unity too. We got to stay
Yeah.
together. We got to come together.
Yep.
There was a time that Paul and Barnabas had to separate, but then they came back
Mhm.
together. So
Yep.
there's a time when that we got to separate, but at the but at the end of that, we got to come together so we can finish what we
Yeah.
started. And I'm gonna say it like this: all the male lioness, get ready, because as I roar, they coming your way. Y'all pick them off.
Sounds good.
y'all pick them off because yeah, it's time to just knock them, get rid of all of them.
Mhm.
And so but we have to understand we are not anti-Republican. We're
Yeah.
not uh as they want to call us anti-establishment. No,
Yeah.
we're just for the people. And we
Yeah.
want what's best for the people. We're
Exactly.
not trying to pick a fight. If I wanted to pick a fight with the Republican Party, I would have ran for governor as an independent.
Yeah.
I would have ran for lieutenant governor as an independent. But that ain't what I come to do. I come to help strengthen them so we
Mhm.
can be the better candidate. You two establishment can't be the same. You can't have two established candidates because you're not gonna be Evers that way.
Right.
You got to have somebody that can draw people from the middle and pull somebody from the Democrat Party that's sick and tired. If you
Yeah.
ain't got the right message, you're not pulling nobody.
Right.
So we have to have that. And I have been doing that in Milwaukee. I have diehard Democrats in their 60s and 70s that been a Democrat all their life are now supporting David King for lieutenant governor. Why? Because they like the message.
Mm-hmm.
That message resonate with people. It doesn't
Yeah.
resonate with a party. It resonates with people. And so, and what's funny is he heard me on a liberal radio station, and he said, "You know where you messed up at?" I said, "No, where?" He said, "When you gave your number out." He said, "That's where you messed up at." But they believe in the message.
Mm.
They took time out to investigate me, to do their research. They looked at what I was saying, and they know I was not lying. I was just giving out truth.
Yep.
And they said, "We're now supporting you." And what did they do? They went back and got more.
Mm.
So when we are able to deliver the message of we the people, stop trying to deliver a message of the party when the party's supposed to be the party of the people. So
Yeah.
if we're the party of the people, then we should be sounding like the people.
Right.
And
Mm.
so and I really believe that's where we miss it at, and we just want to sing them same old songs, and everybody's tired of the song. We
Yep.
free the slave, we free the slave. We give me something else,
Yeah.
and so give me something else,
Mhm.
and that's one of the problems. And if we really be honest, because we said truth is sexy, right? So
Yep.
let's be honest. A lot of Republicans did not like Trump. Why? Because he wasn't singing the song they were singing.
Yep.
You know, he was not playing by their rules.
Yep.
So if they be honest, they really didn't like him. I know some that was running for office in Milwaukee as a Republican, but did not push Trump in the process.
Yeah.
So if we be honest, Trump was an outsider. He was
Mhm.
I was in 2020, I was at a tea party in Whitelaw, Wisconsin.
Mhm.
Okay. Me and my wife was the only uh, people of color, if we want to use that word there, in Whitelaw, Wisconsin. Now, look at the name now, Whitelaw. Okay, so we're in Whitelaw, and I tell the people in Whitelaw, I say, listen, we love Trump policies, but we shake our head every time he tweets something.
Mm-hmm.
Because the question we have to ask ourselves is, now, how do we defend this?
Yeah.
You know, his policies was great.
Yeah.
And we say, if he would just stay off Twitter,
I said that a lot.
you know, if he would just stay, but his policies, you know, people was prospering, people was, things was happening.
Yeah.
And so, you know, we was like, please stay off Twitter. You wake
Yeah.
up and there's another tweet, you be like, oh God. Now how do I defend this?
You know what we should have been saying instead during that whole time? What we should have been saying is, why are you on Twitter?
Right.
You know? Because this is the thing. We were why are we the people making judgment calls on who's in office based on their Twitter feed, right? Like, I'm not condoning some of the things he said. He was, you know, just the playground antics was just, it was ridiculous. But if we had just, if everybody in the Republican Party had stepped off of Twitter for 4 years, we might not have lost 2020, right? Because we were so divided on all of these little things that were happening around us. If we had just seen, if we just looked around us and said, I've got a bigger paycheck. I had less taxes. You know, you know, the minority groups have had more employment in this entire, if we had just looked at the facts instead of following all of those excess things, gotten off of CNN, sometimes even gotten off of Fox, you know, and just watch what was going on in the world around us.
Yeah, and you know, I said this, you know, even with the black colleges, they got more money under him than any president. And I said, wow, now he's doing things that upsetting folks, but then he's giving them ammunition to, you know, at the same time, you know, and that's me. Like certain things go by, and I have a friend of mine, I love him dearly, you know, because he keeps me in line. Somebody will do something, and I'll be like, I'm finna. He'd be like, nope, you the candidate.
Yeah.
Leave it alone. I deal with it. You know, let me see, what did he say?
If people knew how, yeah. Trump was this. Yeah, I know. Well, yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Trump was a celebrity. I mean, that is his go-to. He was always there to basically get likes or dislikes. It didn't matter whether he got likes or dislikes. He just got attention. But in many ways that attention was good because it really did some good things for our country.
And you know, I think one of the things I think about it is this. Trump showed us that we the people can take our country back.
Yep.
If we quit doing the same stuff, if we do something different, if we bold enough to stand up for what we really say we believe in, you can have your country back. And the thing about it is remove the status quo. It ain't like you're running for a high school homecoming queen and king. You know, you in this to save lives. You in this, you know. One of the things that I was teaching on in Bible class last night is the Bible says in Timothy that you're supposed to endure your share of hardship. And I'm not talking about you losing a loved one or something. It's about whatever you believe in, you're going to have some hardship. You're going to have somebody don't like you. You're going to have somebody talking about you. You're going to have somebody not showing up. Can you continue to go forward even when you are not liked? You know, and that's why I always tell people, I don't want you to like me. I want you to be able to trust me.
Yeah.
Trust me that this crazy one, like Stephanie said, he is messed up. I'm crazy. that I'm going to do what's right for your kids. So sometimes I remember a mother, and it was so funny. She used to be a part of the church. And she said to me one day, I don't like your methods. I don't like how you do things. I was like, really? She said, no, I don't like it. 2 weeks later, she come back. She said, you remember when I told you I don't like your methods? I said, yeah. She said, but I love the results.
Yep.
She said, so keep doing what you're doing. I don't like your methods. I don't like how you do things, but I love the results. And when you when I tell people, when you choose me to represent you, you might not like how I do it, but you're going to love the results. You're going to love your freedom. You're going to love having your power back. You're going to love not having CRT and Common Core. You're going to love getting rid of companies that's trying to force mandate. You're going to love the results. You might not like the way I do things, but you're going to love the results. Uh-oh. No, he ain't on here. Pastor Terrence Moore, my brother, how you doing? He's watching from LinkedIn. So we just need to people in that we can say, you know what? I trust you to do what's right for us, not for yourself, but what's right for us.
Yep. And after you've given that message, after you've spoken the truth, after all that, if you still have people who are like, nope, not going to happen, I'm not voting for you, right? Take a page out of Trump's book and say, what have you got to lose? Look where we're at right now. It can't get much worse. I mean, and then, knock on wood, then it will. But the idea is what do you have to lose? Try something different. We don't have to go with the establishment. We don't have to go with the status quo.
But wait. Ain't you on an executive board?
Yeah.
Okay. I just want people to see. Just because people is on that board doesn't mean they want to go along with the same old stuff. Because that's what Einstein said. Einstein said if we keep doing the same thing and you think you're gonna get something different, that's insanity.
It is.
So a lot of times we have to come out of the box. Yes. And when you come out of the box and allow God to give you downloads and divine wisdom and divine ideas to get us out of the mess we in, you gotta do things different. We cannot keep doing the same thing, inspecting. You can't go get somebody. How is it that for example, we have 2 state senators in the lieutenant governor race that haven't done anything. What makes them gonna do something different when they are lieutenant governors?
Right.
You ain't done nothing in however long you've been a state senator. You haven't stood up for we the people. You haven't opened up your mouth for we the people. You haven't went fighting for we the people. Don't give me what we wrote and then it got vetoed, because that's part of the plan. Democrats do that too. So don't tell me that. You never called a press conference, a news conference. You never told the businesses to stay open. You never told the church to stay open, but you was okay with them leaving the liquor stores open. So I don't get it. So what makes us think you're going to do something different as lieutenant governor?
Yeah.
And we just need to elevate them for what?
Yeah.
And then we say, well, we got to just vote because, we always done it this way. Oh my God, really?
Yeah, it's the title. It's not the responsibility they want.
But they got to understand with that title comes big responsibility.
Yeah.
Big responsibility. Now, even people say, well, the job really don't do nothing. Okay, then you need to start thinking like governor just in case of emergency. What you going to do? Sit up in a glass case and then when an emergency comes, you break the glass and then no, it doesn't work that way. And we gotta understand that and realize that it doesn't work that way. If I can't think like governor now, when I'm gonna think like it? After he go down or she go down, and then I'll stand up and say, okay, here I am. What do I do? Uh-oh. Now I gotta fall in line with the party. I've got to fall in line with what they want, or do I stand up and be that leader, that true leader that this
Yep.
state needs?
Yep.
And that's the important part. Anytime he leaves the state, you are in charge.
Mm.
So what we'll do is we'll go get our phones and we'll play checkers or chess on the phone, or we'll be on Facebook praying that nothing happened, that we don't have to make a decision on. No, we got to be prepared, because again, we're playing with people's lives. We're playing with our children's future, and we cannot allow that to happen.
Yeah.
We have to get in position to fix some things. I mean, we ain't gonna be able to snap our finger and everything done overnight, but we should see progress.
Yeah.
What did he say? Oh, yes. And the sad part about it is, if something happens to Evers and Mandela Barnes, we're stuck with Doug LaFollette, because he's third in line.
Yeah.
So we really we're in trouble. So we got to pray that he stay okay until after the election. Let's see. Oh, okay. Old man. Yeah, that's it right there. Old man. Right. But instead of saying old man, say old man. Because that's what we stuck with. So you guys, we're about to I'm going to allow Stacy, not Stacy. Stacy is on my brain because she's tight. Who's she talking? Oh, wait a minute. What did she say? Okay, hold on. Okay. Oh, she's talking to Pastor Terrence. Okay.
Yep.
So I'm gonna give you your closing remarks and statements and whatever else you want to say, and then I do my closing, and we'll tell everybody good night.
All right. Okay, so yeah, gosh, there's just so much to talk about. We talked about election integrity the last time, and we're talking about the elite clubs and divisions and all of these things in our nation. And truth has a ring to it, and we need to start seeking truth, and we need to start standing behind those who stand for truth. And we're not going to redeem this nation without that. And so yeah, I fully and firmly believe that God is not done with America, but I also believe we have some repenting to do. We have some turning around to do, and we need to start right in our own homes. We need to start right in our own communities, and making truth sexy again, and making it something that people want to get behind and want to support, not because it's easy, but because it is worth fighting for, and our country is worth fighting for, and the principles that we stand on at the beginning of our nation, and the principles that our Constitution was written based on. We have a job to do, and we the people we dropped the ball for too long, and it's time to pick it up and start moving again. So that's what I got to say.
Okay, and I'm gonna close it like this. Whether we go through the endorsement process or not, we have to make sure that we keep the main thing, and that is we the people getting the true representation that we need, that we will preserve our freedom, get rid of CRT, jumpstart our economy, remove all mandates, no matter what it is, bring that DPI race out of spring into November, that we get a qualified candidate that will remove Common Core CRT and go back to reading, writing, and arithmetic. We need to make sure parents have their rights again, and then after that, we need to rebuild. We got to rebuild the spiritual walls of our state. We need to make sure that we repair bridges between one another, because not only are we fighting party lines, we're fighting inside party line. We're fighting because you're black, because you're white, because you're vaccinated, because you're not vaccinated. We have to you're right, Frank. We got to rebuild the trust in our government.
Put
And
trustworthy people in government.
yes, and that's how we rebuild trust. We got to
Yeah.
put trustworthy people. You can't get God back in government if you don't put godly people in
Yeah.
office. So, so there's a lot of things that we must do, but we start by April 15th with our local races.
Mhm.
Getting the godly people. We got a lot of godly people running for different offices, school boards, county supervisors. We need to help them get in office. And then we don't need to put somebody in office because they got an R behind their name or a D behind their name. But we got to put them in office because they're walking in integrity. We got to put them in office because they're trustworthy. We got to put them in. They have a record of being trustworthy and a record of good character. I think we need to also work now, because we can't wait till August 10th. We got to work now, mending stuff together. And then we got to start eliminating. Do your research, do your homework. Stop just liking a person. Do your research, do your homework, start to eliminate. You don't have to wait till August, and you don't have to wait until May. You have to start eliminating people now. And if you can go through and be honest with yourself and go through everybody, I'm telling y'all, I ask people all the time, do your homework on me. Check out our resumes. You got people, they lying. They're outright lying because they looking at this as an opportunity for an election and not an opportunity for the next generation. So we have to go through and look at them and make sure that they are what we need in office right now.
Right.
And if they're not, then they got a chance to clean up and get right, and then do it. Don't look at people and say, well, they've been out here for 2 years fighting. What happened to the other 10 years, 20 years? Where was they then? Where was they fighting then? Why wasn't they fighting? Why didn't they say anything back then? Why? We got to ask these kind of questions. We have to ask these kind of questions.
Mm-hmm.
Let me say it like this. If you was looking for a church home and you look for a church and you see a church, you say, oh, maybe we like this church, right? I don't agree with you on CRT, but other things. Chance, we're going to have that conversation. I love you. You're my brother. And I know how you feel about that conversation when it comes to CRT. But, you and I love each other, and we agree to disagree, and we'll have that conversation. You owe me coffee anyway. So, so get over here and get me my coffee. But the thing about it is this. When we look at a church, right? We want to know if that church is good for us, right? If the pastor is walking right, first of all, and if the pastor married, let me see how his wife look at him when he up preaching, right? To make sure that relationship is intact. Let me see if they got something for our children. Let me see if they got something for couples. Let me see if they got something for singles. Let me see, right? We're looking at all of this. But then when it comes from election time, we don't do no homework.
Mm-hmm.
We don't do no homework. We don't even look at those that have been elected to see what's their voting record. Stacy again. Stacy, you might as well just get up to Black River Falls, babysit so they can go on a date. but we have to look at it and we have to research, because this is not about Democrat being in power or Republican being in power. This is about my children right now, because they're trying to confuse our children with genders. They're trying to confuse our children to hate the Constitution. What did he say?
Ooh, is that going to be the next next meeting, we're gonna get to see you guys talk it out.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to get him on here so we can have a talk. Yeah, we love each other. But if you don't take me, I'm gonna do it like this. If you don't take me to breakfast, you don't take me to coffee, I'm going to call Dr. Cheryl. That's who I'm finna call. I'm telling on you. I'm gonna call your wife and tell her how you treating her brother. So, but you know, we have to find a way to stay together. You know, we cannot allow this to make us bitter. This is supposed to make us better, not bitter.
Yep.
And so whether we do it, you know, I got an opponent, and I'll say names because we promised Ed we'll say names. Jonathan Wickman, who running for governor, didn't want to go through the endorsement, wouldn't sign in no pledge, wouldn't do anything. And the first thing he says on his video is, "Oh, I meet the criteria of the endorsement process." So now you finna sign what you said you're not going to sign. You know, we gotta hold us. I ask y'all to hold me accountable. If I jump out this race and run for Congress, how would y'all feel? He's talking about don't call the big guns. He's talking about his wife. He don't want me to call her. So, but you know, if that's something that I do, if I just all of a sudden now I'm preaching the word of God in my campaign, I'm telling you guys I feel and believe God led me to run for this race, and all of a sudden I call you guys and say, you know what, I am now running for Congress. You guys gonna be like, oh, big liar! I'll be everything in the book, right?
Yep.
Because why? That move was not a move for we the people. That was a move for David King. And this is why we got to stop, because if people are making moves claiming it's for we the people didn't ask you to make that move. I can see if we the people say, hey, would you please come to this race?
Yeah.
But we the people didn't ask you to make that move. We are making moves on our own that better fits us. And if it benefits you, then we are going to be caught up and we're going to lose again.
Yep.
And that's the problem that we have. And that's something that we got to stop. So I'm praying that everybody, we can stay together. We can stay unified, no matter if your favorite person don't win. Just like in football, a lot of people still watch the Super Bowl, even though their favorite team didn't make it to the Super Bowl. Oh, wait a minute. It's your choice, but Wickman has been preaching government race since 2020. Yeah, we know that, and it is our choice. But you got to understand, our choice affects a lot of people.
Yeah,
and it makes a lot of people not trust, as they say, politicians. When we do things, they lose hope. Why? Because, like they say one thing and we do something else.
Yep.
And we have to stop that. And so that's my spiel on everything. So I'm saying to you guys, we have to stay together. I don't care who your candidate is right now. If they don't make it in August 9th, then you still August 10th got to roll up your sleeve and say, let's go.
Yep.
Let's work. Let's do this.
Yep.
But I'm still going to say what I always say. This is Dr. David King, and I am your next lieutenant governor. I will be saying that, and I will be saying that on August 10th. So, you know, I'm standing on it. I believe it. I'm moving forward, whether or not endorsement or not, because here's the thing about it. After August 9th, you got to support me anyway if you want to win.
Yeah.
Now, if you that upset that if the party is that upset that they don't want to support on August 10th, then what you're saying is you want Evers to have another term. Wait a minute. Let's see.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So, I mean, and like you said, everybody has that choice. But, I think what we have to do is now let's focus on April 15th. Um, Next week, Wednesday. No, I think we said Tuesday, right?
Tuesday, yeah.
Yep, we're doing a show next week Tuesday because next week Wednesday I'll be at Hot Government, something like that, something hot government. We'll be at Hot Government next week Tuesday. Those of you who are in the Westby area, we will be up in Westby this Sunday at 1 o'clock. Myself and Dr. Duke Pestle will be there. Come on out, learn about CRT, learn about what's going on in the school system because a lot of us are ignorant to what's going on in the school system.
Yep.
So
Yep.
we need to. Those of you that ain't really knowledgeable about the Constitution, it's time for you. There's a lot of free courses about the Constitution. There's
Yep.
a lot there. I mean, people are passing out the Constitution. I mean, we have no excuse anymore. It is time that we get engaged and we get engaged to the fact where, when there is not wartime, you see Marines fighting the Navy, you see Marines fighting the Army, you see the Army fighting the Air Force and everything.
Mhm.
But when it's wartime, they come together
Mhm.
and be a mighty force. And
Yeah.
that is what we have to do. We have to come together and be that mighty force. And it gotta be we the people. This cannot be a party race. If this is a party race, we're gonna lose. If
Yep.
this is a we the people race, we're going to win.
Yep.
I guarantee it. If this is a we the people, we're going to win. I guarantee it. But if it's a party race, we
Yep.
will lose because our
Exactly.
message is wrong.
Yep.
So I just wanted to say that, and I thank the honorable constitutional queen uh, for jumping on and being with me again,
Mm.
and I know she loved talking and teaching on the Constitution, and
Yeah, it's
Stacy
my
loved
honor.
Stacy loved eating it up. So you know, so it's been an honor. It's been a pleasure. You guys, we thank y'all. See, I thought we was gonna do an hour and a half. We did an hour and no 2 hours and
2 hours.
14
Yeah.
minutes. So you know, so before anybody make comments, we're leaving you guys. Okay, we love y'all. We leaving y'all, and we'll be on next week Tuesday. So again, this is Dr. David King. I am your next Lieutenant Governor. We love you guys and talk to y'all soon. God bless.
Bye.